What's up, guys? Almost Survival here on this cold, freezing, icy morning. You can see here we got a good amount of sleet and freezing rain, and I figured what better opportunity than to go over cold weather clothing. Now, this is my type of clothing that I like to wear. Everybody's, taste and opinions are going to be different as far as what to wear. This is what I like to wear. Of course, yours is different. It's okay to go differently. This is just your main stuff that you're going to want to have in weather like this. Especially, actually, hold on. Let me go in and get my little thermometer, and I'll show you exactly how cold it is. Alrighty. I don't know how well y'all can see. Let me get the glare off this thing. It's only been around 5 minutes since it's been out here, and it's already down to about dropped it to around the 35-degree mark, and it's much colder than that. I imagine this will probably go down a lot more if I let it sit out here. I think it's like around 29, and the wind chill's about 17, and it's starting to come down again, so I'm going to try to make this quick. As far as cold weather, your most important part is going to be your layers. Layers are your friend. They're easy to strip layers and taking off one thing, and it also keeps heat around your core. Now, I like these lightweight layers, these little base layers. They're perfect. They're comfortable to wear, especially if you're wearing multiple layers. Like I said, these are very good. Now, this is just what I prefer. No, you don't have to get the exact same ones. You can get, the level 2 or 3s. I prefer wearing base layers on long-term things. Usually what I got here is more than enough for me, just keeping my core body temperature warm. Now, I do have the full thing. I have the tops and the bottoms of these. Now, I believe there's different types. There's ones that are like polyester, and there's one that are a mix of cotton. Now, cotton really isn't a good idea to be wearing in wet and cold environments, because cotton doesn't really block water. It doesn't shed water, and it also holds water in. So it's not the best if you get wet. You want something more like wool, like this right here, but I'll go with that in a second. Well, and let's cut back to your next important thing. Now, the next thing you're going to want to have is some sort of wool sweater, shirt, or pullover. I've got two here. I got a old field shirt here that is 100% wool. And I got this military sweater here. It is 100% wool. Usually this alone right here, it's combined with the t-shirt, is good enough for me. Really warm to wear. Wool is moisture wicking, so if you do get wet, it'll keep the moisture off your body. Now, if you fall into a creek or something like that, you're probably going to be soaked, but that's what the point of layers is, so you can strip layers off as quickly as possible. And I prefer something like this over this, because you can just pull this off instead of having to go down and unbutton all these things. And also, too, one reason you want layers is if you're working in a colder environment, you don't want to warm up too quickly and start to sweat. Because if you start to sweat, hypothermia can set in really quick. So if you start feeling warm, whatever it is, you want to, take off a layer. It's usually if you're stripped down to, a wool sweater or shirt, you're still feeling warm and protected from the wind and the elements. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. Now on to your important parts that are going to be most affected to the cold, which are going to be your hands and your face. Now, as far as these gloves go right here, I prefer fingerless gloves because I want the dexterity, if I'm opening a door or getting something from my pocket or my bag or whatever. I want to be able to use my fingers. Now, I know these, my fingers are exposed to the elements, but I can easily put them in my pocket, have a hand warmer in my pocket, and warm up my fingers really quickly, and, come back out and they're fine. Now, these are merino wool knit gloves from minus 33 merino wool. Very comfortable, lightweight gloves. Now, if you want something that's more water resistant and durable, go right ahead. This is just what I prefer. Or you can get some of these and use them as a liner to some heavier gloves. That's a good idea too. But I just prefer the dexterity. Next is going to be your face. Usually I just wear a wool watch cap. But this is also something that if you're in your, like now, freezing rain, blowing rain and all that, it's going to be hitting you in the face and with the wind and the ice. You're going to want something that's going to want to protect your entire head. Now, this is if I can pull the thing out. It's 100% wool, extended cold weather face mask. All this pretty much is military surplus. Now, surplus isn't a bad thing. I know what they say, surplus is always made by the lowest bidder. But this extended cold weather stuff works really well. And it's fairly cheap sometimes. So, I mean, don't be afraid to go to a surplus store and check out. Most of the times they got a bunch of these and they're wanting to get rid of them, so they'll sell them for a good price. I know I paid a really good price for this one with the liner included. So let me get on to that now. This is a late entry because I forgot to add it in. So the next clip from this is going to be the actual ending, but I'm doing this now because I kind of forgot to leave this out. Some other things you're going to need that are kind of important are you're going to need a good pair of boots. So preferably something like something water resistant, like Gore-Tex or something. I believe there's military cold weather boots. I'm not too sure. I just got some of these. They're just regular leather boots. They're hiking boots, but they are moisture wicking and water resistant all the way through up to here. Now, obviously, if I put my whole foot in the water, it will soak my entire foot, but it will stay keep them dry as long as I don't go past a certain line here. And as well as something you're going to want is wool socks. Wool socks are very important. You don't want any of the regular dress socks or anything. You want wool socks. Because your feet will sweat and it will get damp inside of your boot. And you don't want to sweat anywhere pretty much. So this wool will keep the water or the sweat from becoming an issue. It may get a little chilly, but it'll stop from becoming an issue, as well as if you got the right boots to pull the moisture from your feet. And as well, a good little item to have, since they're fairly cheap, but they're really only found around this time of year. Sometimes you can get lucky and get them on clearance, is hand warmers. Now, I really don't use body warmers because the clothing I wear can keep my core warm enough. I mainly just use hand warmers to put in my pocket so I can warm up my hands and my fingers. As well, toe warmers, so you can, keep your toes warm, because the main things that are going to start to feel the effects of frostbite and all that would be the tips of your nose, your fingers, ears, and toes. So basically any exposed skin, they get slow circulation. But this shouldn't be an issue as long as you do the right things, go through the precautions, don't keep your body dry, don't overexert yourself and start to sweat, and you should be fine. Now, like I was saying before, this is my preference on what I like to wear. I like these heavier Gore-Tex jackets. This is a US M65 field jacket with the detachable liner. Now, this is a older jacket, so it is a little bit worn, but it doesn't have any holes, no rips, no tears. It's fairly good shape. Considering I only paid $30 for it, so it's really good jacket, really good cold weather jacket. Let me get it right here. Cold weather coat. Now I believe there's another liner you can get for these to make them rated even lower, but I'm not too sure. This is a good light durable coat. Now it is a little bit heavy. Now if you want, you know, lighter coats, whatever it is, those downfield coats and stuff, you know, you can do that. It's just I want something that's gonna be durable enough to stand up and as well as shed water. Now what you can also do if you wanted to double this to give it a little more added protection, you can get a jacket. I'm wearing it right now, but this is it's a water resistant and wind resistant jacket. It's just a soft shell jacket. It does have a heat retentive layer, but that's not doing too good right now considering I'm not wearing my coat. But that's about it. I'm gonna get off here because I'm starting to feel the cold right now. I'm gonna post a few videos today since everything's frozen, got nothing else to do, and this is a good test to work up on some cold weather survival. So that's about it. You know, usual like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time.